Welcome to the Browns Table. My name is Craig Fountain, and I am opening up the roundtable for Browns discussion following the loss to the New York Jets today. We're going to recap this game. We're going to do a post-game show of sorts. I already have a guest coming on the show. We're going to recap the game with Cleveland Elf, bring Brownie back. But just so you know, the whole idea behind the Browns Table, if this is the first time you're catching the show, is we want to open up a live streamed Browns roundtable discussion called the Browns Table to everybody. Almost anybody can join. Of course, assuming we have the time in the space, we can have up to 10 people on here at once. If you comment on the live stream, we can pull up your comments and discuss your comments. If you're not comfortable going on camera, think of it as calling into a radio show. So I am going to post the link to this live stream that you can click to join. And just click the link. It'll take you right in, and you're not live right off the bat. I'll bring you in, and we can talk about the Browns. Now, heartbreaking loss today. Let me bring our guest in here. And we have Cleveland_Elf on Twitter. Bring Brownie back. Many of you guys are familiar with him. Some of you know him as Bane if you listen to the radio. How's it going, Mr. Elf, today?
Not good. We're not doing good, Craig. It's a hurtful day. It's just here we are.
Yeah. What a tough game to watch. The Browns, man, they fall 23-16, and other things went right for us. The Steelers beat the Colts. Some people have mixed opinions on that. Some people wanted to see the Steelers beat the Colts and allow us to clinch with a win today. Other people wanted to roll the dice, assuming that we were going to win today, assume that we had a chance to win the AFC North moving forward. Neither of those scenarios, which I think everybody was kind of counting on, played out. So we got the help we needed. It just didn't come to fruition. What went wrong today?
I mean,
what do you think? Lots went wrong. We all watched the game. What sticks out to you the most?
The fumble at the end. I mean, the Baker, like we were chatting a little bit about, is 6 fumbles on the year. I think that's huge. But I'm not going to blame Baker because he's playing with guys that we might have went to high school with, and we might not have. I don't even know who those guys were he was throwing to. Bradley impressed me really well. I just don't think the run game was real stagnant. I mean, Nick Chubb struggled. What did he end up with? 40 yards rushing?
So, yeah, he ended up actually with 28 yards rushing and a touchdown on 11 carries for 2.5 yards per carry. Kareem Hunt was 4 carries for 11 yards and a touchdown, 2.8 yards per carry. So the running game did not get going. And just to kind of interject there, did you notice at the beginning of the game, I think that they game planned the idea that everybody thought that we were going to run the ball heavy, especially at the beginning of the game. Now, coming into this game, tendency-wise, Stefanski has called, I believe, more first down pass plays than any other coach or any other play caller in the league, but they went really heavy with the pass in the first quarter, and I don't know if that was the way to do it.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, they tried to game plan off of what they thought we were going to game plan, if that makes sense. So they definitely went just pass heavy and abandoned the run early, and then we tried to get back to it, but it was too late. And that's what's even more alarming is Quinnen Williams was out for the Jets after he had a huge game last week, and their run stopper was gone. But here we are just throwing the ball like crazy, and it just led to a slow start, which whatever. And I knew we wouldn't, and Hooper had, 5 targets in the first 2 drives, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, he started out with 5 receptions, 45 yards, I believe it was. It was efficient, 5 for 5 on his end, and I think we expected to see a heavy dose from him throughout the game, but they certainly made adjustments and made it a lot harder to target Hooper. And when we did target him, it just wasn't efficient. And I think there's plenty of ways to spread the blame around there, but I think that in my mind, my most confusing – the thing I'm struggling with the most with this whole game was the play calling in the script. Now, granted, 24 hours ago,
the tempo just fell off. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. 24 hours ago, we didn't know what kind of situation we'd be in New York. It was I guess about 24 hours ago, the news started breaking. We're going to be without Jarvis Landry, Kadero Hodge, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Rashard
Hey,
Higgins, B.J. Goodson, Jacob Phillips. I mean, these aren't nobodies. Those are our top 4 wide receivers. And when you take Goodson out there, and I listened to your spot on Dogs by Nature, you brought up B.J. Goodson is the heart and soul of this defense. That was a big loss. Jacob Phillips was a big loss. Now we got Mac Wilson coming back in there. He ended up with an injury towards the end of the game. Man, there's just so many ways that this didn't pan out the way we needed it to. What else stuck out to you as far as this loss?
the line, losing the guys on the line. Nick Harris playing at guard. I don't even know if you look back to see. He played center at Washington last year, and he's a rookie. You're asking a rookie to play out of position, and he gave up a big sack in the first half. So there's a lot more pressure on Baker. So I really think that compounded into the struggle that we faced with the run game. And I think that trying to ask a guy your first year in the league to play out of position, and this is your biggest game of your life, probably. I mean, at Washington, I hate to say it, they didn't play for any big titles or anything, but you're going to play out of position. And he gave up some big plays. We lost a sack there, and he could not open up that side. And he looked really good last week playing against the Giants. And then this week, nothing. And whoever Fat Skasky was, I don't even know what his name was, the D lineman for the Jets. That guy was in Baker's lunch all day, and he had multiple big plays. So what stood out to me, I think, more than the receiver loss was the lineman we lost to COVID, because I think that played a bigger role than losing Juice or Peoples-Jones or Hodge or any of the receivers. I really think that we would have been okay if we could have run the ball a little bit better. But asking a rookie to play out of position, and then the guys we lost on the line just killed us. That's what stood out to me.
Absolutely. Now we have a comment live from Jared Bates. Jared is that fat guy. If you saw our pilot episode, Jared, click the link. Get on here. We want to see your pretty face. Get on here and talk to us. Is Chubb okay? He doesn't seem like himself. Chad, would you say this is a rhythm issue, not getting the run game going in the first quarter, or is there something there?
No,
an observation by Jared Bates.
It's not Chubb personally at all, in my opinion. Like I said, it's the line. Missing those guys, Jedrick Wills being out was absolutely huge as well. No, it's not just Chubb, but the play call, compound in the first quarter, because they were in a parking garage doing their walkthroughs. I mean, that's not a normal circumstance. The flight was delayed 4 hours. Anybody's going to be off rhythm, but Chubb's a professional, the ultimate professional, and he showed up, still had the big touchdown run. And I don't know. I mean, I would say more so missing those linemen is what stands out to me at the end of the day, not Chubb at all, personally. Chubb will probably go for 200 yards next week. I bet you he just shreds Pittsburgh. He'll probably be a man on a mission, pissed off about today, and that's just the way he is.
Now, an observation of my own, I want to know what you think about this. Do you feel that Chubb's one of those guys that needs 10 to 12 carries to get warmed up? Because I feel like it's usually getting towards the end of the half or into the first part of the second half where he really starts breaking off some chunk plays.
No, only because his rookie year, I remember it was the Oakland game, his rookie year. How many carries did he have before he ran that 90-yard touchdown or that big touchdown run against Oakland? You know what I mean?
That's very true.
You know what I mean? He's a guy that can take it to the house at any given moment. He doesn't need the warm-up. I know what you're saying. There's a lot of guys that need like those practice swings, I guess you would say, as a running back. He needs reps. He needs to get a couple. Jonathan Taylor's the guy that I think of when I think of that. When I watch Jonathan Taylor play for the Colts, he's a guy you got to get him 4 yards. He's got to hit in the nose a couple times, and then he starts breaking off good 15, 20-yard chunk plays, and then he gets into a rhythm, volume guys. Chubb's the guy that he can crack it to the house at any given moment. So, no, I don't think so. I just think today, in retrospect, was just an issue of the scenario around them with the COVID, and also the linemen being out more so as well. Not as much the play calling, abandoning the run early, which I would have disagreed with, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome at all. I don't think it would have really helped us that much more.
All right, so we got another comment to go to that was left live. Guys, if you're just joining us, you can click a link. It's in the comments. It's a StreamYard link. You can come live on the show via video or voice if you choose not to select your camera. If you don't want to come on live, leave a comment. We can display the comment or your question and discuss it from there. Case in point, here is Elijah. Not based off of today's game, but in general, what do you think of the running back duo, Kareem and Nick? So I'm going to answer this first, if you don't mind, Chad. I personally feel that if you look at this from a big picture, not just from today, that there has never been two guys that are this talented in their prime on the same team at the same time. I think you got to go back to Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen to identify this much talent in its prime in the same backfield at the same time. Chubb had a shot at the rushing title last year. Kareem won a rushing title. These are both young guys in their mid-20s that have proven they can produce. You can go back and look at guys like Derek Ward and Brandon Jacobs, or D'Angelo Williams and help me out there, Chad. Who was with D'Angelo Williams?
Oh, it was Jonathan Stewart.
Jonathan Stewart. Some of that was more injury-based.
No, that was Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. That's what I think of. Yeah.
Yep. And then Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, you can identify those guys. But I personally feel you have to go all the way back to Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen to find two running backs this talented in their prime in the same backfield. Am I crazy, Chad?
No, I mean there's nothing wrong with these guys doing that. I mean Ron Dane and Tiki Barber, which was Thunder and Lightning. That's that was my combo as a kid, and I had a Ron Dane when he came out of college. I'm a Browns fan, of course, but I loved watching Ron Dane at Wisconsin, and he ran with Tiki Barber was really good. I mean, that's the one that comes to mind for me. But what do I think of? So not based off of today's game in general is the question. What do you think? I mean, moving forward, you have Kareem Hunt gave us a hometown discount. I mean, there's nothing to be discouraged about at all. I mean, you have a duo that's going to be here for years to come, maybe even longer than Baker. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Baker Mayfield. We've hashed some things out with Baker before. I'm a bit of a Baker Mayfield apologist, and I take ownership of that. You're a little more skeptical, but support Baker. What went wrong today? First of all, did you see anything good today?
Yeah, the mechanics are still there. He's still there's so much. I mean, you can make a whole show of this. Just what you see with his footwork, his hips, his mind just looks different. And that's what I am encouraged by, because I didn't see it. And a lot of people said because the weather in those games with the Texans, especially the Vegas game is the one that I always point to. Like, he looks scared to throw, but a lot of people say that Stefanski didn't want to throw, and that makes sense. But he just looks so much more confident now. He still looked confident today. Of course, last week, even more confident than ever. The 84% completion percentage. But the fumble at the end, I mean, crunch time. And then he fumbled twice. I mean, he didn't just fumble at the end. He fumbled before the end.
3 times. Lost 2.
Yeah, he had, I mean, that discourages me. That hurts. I mean, that's your guy that's going to win for you at the end. You don't do that. And yeah, I'm going to give him, like I said, the benefit of the doubt. He's thrown, and Bradley looked good. Give him a shout out. I'm going to follow him on Twitter this afternoon. I mean, Bradley looked huge. I mean, Bradley came in big, and Harrison Bryant dropped a lot of balls today, which hurt. Hooper was there. That was his go-to guy. We should have ran a few more screen plays to Chubb and Hunt, I feel like, in the last few minutes. But with what Baker did at the end, turning the ball over, you just don't do that. The great ones don't turn the ball over. I'll just put it that way. Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over.
All right. So,
But what do you think, Craig? Come on.
So here's what I think. I think that his confidence remained even when things weren't looking so good. He was on the field. He was smiling. He was trying to keep his guys light and motivated. He was on the sideline trying to motivate his guys. He was doing the rah-rah thing, which isn't something that he's necessarily known for.
When Sendejo had that tackle, he was
man.
right there. Did you see him? I loved it. I was like, Baker's right there. Like, almost ran on the field and high-fived him. Sorry to interrupt.
Right. No, you're good.
I love that. I mean, that's what I want from him. That's what I want from this team.
And that was a really good thing to see him come on the field and celebrate with that defense. And that was a huge stop. That might have been Sendejo's best play all year. That was a great play by Sendejo, and he catches a lot of heat. But when I look at his play, I feel like a lot of these balls were on the money. There was a couple that weren't, but a lot of the balls were on the money. And like you said, Harrison Bryant struggled to haul a few in. And I think he did a good job throwing the ball away. He didn't force the ball anywhere. He almost had a pick, but for the most part wasn't too dangerous with the football through the air anyways. So I'm going to pick on Stefanski a little bit, though. There's no guy I want more in Cleveland than Stefanski. And coaches are going to call bad games. Players are going to play bad games. I don't know about the sneak at the end, and I'm not talking about just because Baker fumbled it, but you have Nick Chubb, you have Kareem Hunt, you have Janovich. What are you doing? What is up with that play call?
Right.
I don't know.
It worked. It worked all game. They did it twice before that, and it worked.
Man.
Just to the money hole, right? Or going back to the fishing hole too many times.
Right. Going back too many times, get a little bit greedy. I think that ball needs to go to Chubb there. I think it needs to go to Chubb or Hunt. You get up over the pile. But I wasn't a fan of that play call.
Craig, if he doesn't drop that ball, it's a first down. I mean, he had it.
It is.
He had it. That's the thing. It was the right call. So to counter what you're saying, it was the right call. In that point, that's what sucks. That's what hurts the most. Is it was actually the call worked. Your guy just didn't execute. Your leader didn't execute.
And that's a fair point. If he didn't fumble the ball, it likely was a first down. But he does his bread and butter. He doesn't bring home the bacon by holding onto the football in trying to gain a yard.
No, I agree.
So
the Tennessee game that we almost lost. It went down to an onside kick when that game was tucked away in the first 16 minutes of that game. It was done, and it came down to an onside kick, and it shouldn't have. And why? Because Baker fumbled a ball on the same play on a sneak. He's not trustworthy. So, yeah, the head coach trusted him in that situation to hold on to the ball and get the first down, and it didn't work. So, yeah, that is coaching. I mean, that's coaching to a T. You have to take what we know and figure that out.
Absolutely. Now, if you're watching and you just joined us, you can click a link. It's a StreamYard link in the comments. You can join and chat. Ask us a question. If you're upset about today and you want to rant, come on and rant. Just don't be dropping those F-bombs. We got to keep it clean for the kids. If you want to talk to us, we can talk. The whole idea of the Browns table is to have roundtable discussions regarding the Browns. This is our post-game wrap-up show. If you comment, we can display your comment or question from the thread beneath the live stream, and we can go to that and discuss it. Elijah has another one. What makes Baker different from other QBs? This is another
time you got?
What's that?
I said, how much time does he have?
Yeah. So Baker is one of a kind.
He's some quarterback in the league. Yeah.
He's one of a kind in a lot of good ways. In some ways, not so much. But really, what you have, the biggest thing he brings to the table is his energy, his moxie, his confidence. And really, he's a playmaker. People want to talk about guys like Tim Tebow and stuff, guys that aren't the most athletic or built for the quarterback position, but they're winners. They're quote-unquote winners. Baker Mayfield is very much, in my opinion, a winner. He's just competitive and going to find a way. He's got a pretty strong arm. He showed that off a few weeks ago, launching that, I think it was a 73-yard Hail Mary. He overshot the end zone, something you don't always see. But accuracy, sometimes he lacks touch. And while he was known to be an accurate quarterback coming into the NFL, he hasn't always displayed that accuracy. They've reworked his mechanics in the past off season. You've seen some up and down things there, but for the most part, he's been playing pretty well this season, especially in the past 5 or 6 weeks. A lot of guys were sour on him halfway through the season, and rightfully so. He struggled at times, but I think this is the guy. I don't think that we can look too hard into this game, especially with the receiving core, some of the schemes they were running. What's that?
The line.
The line. The 12 personnel in a 2-minute offense. I mean, some of the stuff you just don't always see. So it's definitely interesting to see how he handled it. I'm going to go back and watch the press conference after we got out of here. I caught a little bit of Stefanski's, but I'm interested to see what kind of demeanor he has and things like that. Illegal Ham to the Face, one of my favorite podcasts. Hey, boys, what do you think about the fillins today, and how did they hold up? So,
barf.
yeah, it was rough. I think Hubbard had a pretty okay game. Yeah, we didn't hear his name called too much. I was a little more worried about Lamb at the left tackle spot. I'm sorry, not Hubbard, Harris.
Nick Harris.
Harris. Definitely struggled a little bit at the left tackle spot. Bradley, pretty good. Marvin Hall, I expected more out of, especially because he had some monster games this season before he was let go from the Detroit Lions. Yep. So you want to think, that there's some extra usage to be had there. So when your starters are out. As far as the other guys go, I mean,
there wasn't a lot.
Not a whole lot. Pretty quiet. So as far as the fill-ins today, Mac Wilson. What'd you think of Mac Wilson's game? I'm curious because this has been a topic floating around all week. Mac Wilson was a healthy scratch last week, and he got a chance to kind of redeem himself and work his way back into the good graces of Stefanski this week.
He wasn't terrible, but I mean, Michael Pirine was diving down for 3.5, 4 yards every time he touched the ball, and that was concerning. And I think that's ultimately what did kind of cost us the game. I mean, Jamison Crowder obviously cost us the game, and then some of the other things we did on offense. But the D-line did great. I mean, heck, Myles Garrett, what he did, and the should have been other fumble on the strip sack that wasn't called a strip sack, but it was. And
that was a game difference right there.
Oh yeah. If that's a fumble, we win. There's no doubt there. And then Sheldon Richardson, I thought was huge. Olivier Vernon was huge. Mac Wilson, I mean, yeah, he was out there, but these guys were literally looking at Michael Pirine diving into their core, and he's getting 4 yards of carry, 5 yards of carry, and that hurt. I mean, Frank Gore went out with a couple minutes left. He did a lot more than I thought he would. Ty Johnson didn't really kill us, but Michael Pirine was huge. I mean, that all stung at the end. I mean, that led to what they did with Crowder. They got the touchdowns, and that hurt. Crowder was huge, man. I mean, that's what really killed it. I mean, Denzel Ward played good, but as far as – so the question is the fill-ins, I guess, and you asked about Mac Wilson. Mac Wilson didn't kill us, and not really the fill-ins didn't kill us except for the offensive line, in my opinion. So that's what I think.
Does Mac Wilson have a spot on this defense long term?
Young dude. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's. But here's the thing about Mac Wilson. He's a rotation guy. He's not a guy that should start. If you put him on like the Rams defense, for instance, he shouldn't be playing the amount of snaps he plays. He's a guy that should be a rotational player. He should play 25, 30 snaps tops. He shouldn't be in there like what we use him for. If you put him in just like people talk about Mingo. Markevius Mingo's made a career in this league. Rotation guy. He can't play the full game like we wanted him to, and we overdrafted him to do things we thought he should do. But he's a guy that you can rotate in, and he can cover some guys, and he can play 20, 25 effective snaps a game. Mac Wilson's the same guy. We need to get him help. We need linebacker help. We've need linebacking core help for a long time. Taki, Mac Wilson, and you saw it today, BJ Goodson out. That's why we got exposed. I really feel that. If B.J. Goodson had been out there, it would have been a different story. But Mac Wilson's a guy that can rotate, but you can't put him in for 60 snaps a game or 50, 60 snaps, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting to see the way this season went for him, and I was really surprised to see that he was a healthy scratch. And there's some rumblings that maybe there were some personal matters or something like that that might have contributed to that. But I really like Mac Wilson. I like his intensity and his passion. But I agree with you. I think that he is more of a rotational guy. A lot of people, a lot of fans have soured on him of late, and I really hope he's a part of this defense moving forward. Today, we had Adam Gase versus Joe Woods.
Yeah,
Man, Joe Woods. I think it's too early to start banging the table for his dismissal, but it wasn't a good showing today. Do you think that we have a Joe Woods problem or a personnel problem?
I mean, we've lauded Joe Woods more than any go through the defensive coordinators we've had. I mean, we were just lauding him last week with what he did. I mean, you can't hold this game against him. I mean, the game was there to be won. And I feel like if our personnel had been there, we would have won. And the Joe Woods question wouldn't be an issue at all. I mean, Joe Woods did some great things this year, more than any DC that we've had in a long time. I mean, so I don't think there's a defensive coordinator issue there at all. I really feel like we talked about before, if the NFL, if we were the Steelers, I don't think this game would have been played today. I mean, that's what sucks. I mean, just flat out. And that's not putting it on any coordinator or Stefanski or anybody, but they would have pushed this game back to like Tuesday if we weren't the Browns. But we're the Browns. They're like, hey, go play. Screw you guys. Go play.
Right. And I really felt like we had both hands tied behind our back, and maybe we didn't lose a quarterback like, say, Denver did when they had to play Hinton. But, you know, I would say losing your 4 starting wide receivers is pretty close to losing a quarterback. You know, when you look at the impact that has and the repetitions and the game planning and the week of preparation, and to lose them 24 hours before the game, you get your flight delayed, your walkthroughs canceled. You got to walk through in the parking garage in the freezing cold, you know, at 8:15 game day morning. This was a rough game, and no excuses, but you got to feel a little bit for these guys, and I'm sure it was painful for these wide receivers to be watching at home. And hopefully all these guys are back. There's still a path from what I understand. I believe if we can beat Pittsburgh and get a little help from the Bills, we still have a path to the playoffs. But it's certainly not the feeling is not as good as it was just a few days ago.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to add about this game?
I mean, there's a lot to add about the game now, but honestly, with Baker, the fumbles is what's going to stand out to me at the end, because that raises back to the question we had a month ago when we talked. And I told you personally, I'm rounding a corner on Baker, and with the confidence level and the mechanics seem to be there. Just with everything that he does, his mentality has been there. The gunslinger mentality's back, and the trust, I guess. But what was always the thing about Tim Tebow, and not to compare Baker directly to Tebow, but
sure,
guy didn't turn the ball over and he won, right? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
What did Baker do today?
Turn the ball over.
What happened?
And he didn't win.
That's the problem. That's my concern. So we're rounding back. So it's like we were rounding third base, and now we're looking back at second base like, all right, so what is this guy doing now? Yeah, he didn't turn the ball over for months, and he was balling out and had some good games, but turned the ball over, and we just lost. The biggest game of the year. And it hurts. That's my biggest takeaway. And yeah, like I said, I can't hold him that much accountable because the line is what sticks out to me. And, of course, the 4 receivers. But, dude, you fumbled the ball twice. You fumbled the ball twice in the last 2 drives. It's killer. You're not going to win.
It is killer.
That.
Certainly one of the biggest games of the year. The biggest game of the year. And I don't think we saw this game going this way. It was certainly nerve-wracking waiting for this game to be played all morning. I was pacing around quite a bit. I was still glass half full, so to speak. I felt like the Jets, there was enough there we could expose, and I think that this was a winnable game. That's what that's what's concerning to me is it was a winnable game, and we just didn't get it done. So it's tough. We've had a long time where
Craig,
we have
what grade were you in last time? You were in 8th grade. I was in 7th grade last time we went to the
yeah,
We've been
absolutely,
for a while, dude.
absolutely. And as somebody that was, I mean, when the Browns came back, I was in like 4th or 5th or 6th grade. I came back with the team. I've watched every game since then. Man, we've been tortured for a long time, and while there is light at the end of the tunnel, we don't want to wait for next year. We don't want to wait for next year, and this was certainly a heartbreaking loss. I'm still a glass half full kind of guy, so I'm still going to look forward to next week. I'm going to assume we can do what needs to be done to get into the playoffs, but it will certainly be a heartbreaking end of the season if that doesn't happen.
Knowing Baker, he'll probably throw for 400 yards next week, and we'll win 40-6. I mean, that's just the kind of guy he is. Because you know what he's going to do after this flight home? I'd love to sit next to him because I bet you he's the maddest MFer on that flight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I got hope for him. And he's a guy that is what Cleveland is. I mean, he's going to get just red ass. They said he's got the red ass. They say it chaps his ass when he loses. This guy's not going to take this loss very easily. So he might come out, and Ben looks like he's on his last leg. That Pittsburgh had a great second half, and I got to go back and watch the highlights, but they're definitely a beatable team for us, finally. I mean, the way they've been playing. So Baker could go out and storm them, but we need help. I want to control our destiny. That's what really sucks about today.
Absolutely. In looking back to the last time we had a chance to go to the playoffs, I believe it was a scenario in which the Colts win,
Jim Sorgi.
It would have helped us, but they sat their starters.
Jim Sorgi.
And there was some talk about, they didn't mind losing that game. They didn't want to face us in the playoffs this year and some things like that. But that was an example of watching everything go down the drain and not being in control. And that's unfortunately what we're facing now. We can win next week, but we still need some help elsewhere. If you don't have anything else to add, I think we're going to wrap up here. Is there anything else you want to talk about or discuss?
No, Craig, what's your final takeaway? I want to hear it.
My final takeaway is again, I'm going to be glass half full. There's a lot of adversity the Cleveland Browns face today. I have faith that Mayfield's going to be able to get past this. Would have been nice to get Nick Chubb a win on his birthday. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Stefanski isn't going to let this fly. This is not going to be a coaching staff that allows this to happen a ton. I mean, he's going to get these guys right. This is unacceptable in his eyes. He came in here and he said, personality is welcome. Production's required. We didn't get all the production we needed today. So he's going to get these guys right. And I'm really looking forward to the Steelers game. I think it's a winnable game. Again, though, I just hope we get the help we need so we can watch football beyond week 17.
You trying to go up? We're going up together?
Oh, maybe. We'll have to see what happens. We haven't had luck with that so far.
Well, I told you. Yeah, I know. I got better luck this time, so we're all good. So if you're trying to go.
All right. We'll certainly talk about that. Guys, if this is your first time tuning in, the Browns Table is a live-streamed Browns roundtable discussion. Anybody can join. There's a link in the comments. There will be for every episode. And you can jump on and you can video chat with us, ask us questions. If you want to rant, you can rant, bring something to the table. If not, if you're not comfortable with showing your face, comment on the live stream. We'll be able to show those, display those, discuss them. Tuesday at 7 p.m. is our scheduled show. Today was spontaneous. Many of our shows will be spontaneous. We're going to try to do one scheduled show per week. It's Tuesday at 7 o'clock, $100 cash giveaway, plus a Grant Delpit autographed rookie card giveaway. Somebody's going to have $100 in a Grant Delpit autographed rookie card. You need to tune in to know how to win. For an early entry, we're going to have a couple opportunities for an early entry so that you can have more than one shot to win. Retweet this video, share this video on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That'll get you an extra entry. So tune in 2 days from now on Tuesday, 7 p.m., and we're going to have a contest, and we're going to be giving away some cash and a Grant Delpit autographed rookie card. Until next time, go Browns. Thanks for listening or watching.